So I don't know if this reading is going to resonate with the collective or this is more of a specific reading. So I went ahead and pulled these cards and I meditated on it for maybe a minute or two. And what I'm getting here is that your guides are encouraging you to move towards what seems to feel like a difficult decision. It's a difficult choice, and it doesn't feel like it's difficult because it's something that you don't want to do. It just seems like there's a lot of conflict surrounding you making this decision. It feels kind of like an upheaval, and I don't get that from the Tower card. I'm getting it from this particular card right here, where it feels like I see you making the choice or the decision to move towards something that you feel you should do, but you see how this particular individual is looking back, and it feels like you're looking back at someone or some circumstance, like some people or something that seems to have been causing you some sort of difficulty. So that's what's kind of making it easier for you to make the choice of saying, I know what I want to do, or like what's right for me, or what feels right at least. And so I know that that's going to this next place, right? Whether it's literally moving to a new city or just changing something completely, or even a career. It's like, I know that this is something that I should at least pursue, because that means that I'm getting away from this situation that I am currently wanting to be relieved from. And so there's this feeling also connected to your decision moving forward that is also surrounded by a lot of, like, it feels kind of like busy energy. So I don't know if it's necessarily chaotic. That's why I didn't want to particularly use that word, because it just feels like a lot of movement, a lot of energy swirling around it, right? I can kind of use this example, this particular card where he's holding the wand and it seems like there's a lot of smoke, a little lizard or something kind of grasping around it. It's kind of that same feeling here where it's like, that's your decision. The wand is your decision. That's you kind of, if it feels more representative of your mind, your decision-making process, right? Your mind and whatever kind of practical things that you're laying in place in order to do this. And then all of the things that are kind of surrounding it, right? So whether that's like busy thoughts, when it comes to this, people, I can hear my cat meowing. I think she's playing. And so, well, I mean, I know she's playing. So it could be like that kind of energy where you have like pets. So it's like movement, like energy about like them. It's, I don't even know if I want to use the word distracting either, because just like her, she wasn't distracting me when she's meowing. I'm just noticing her. So it pulls my attention kind of slightly away, right? As an example, because I do believe that what happens during the readings is not a mere coincidence. So it's something like that, some external force. And that still includes, like I'm saying, that still includes like your thoughts when it comes to something else, because it's something that's occurring or something that you're creating, I guess, in some way in your thought that is still external from like this particular path or this particular goal or this particular decision, right? If you weren't thinking about that, then it would just be like very clear. You get what I'm saying? And then they draw me to like these two cards right here, the Hierophant, the Ten of Wands, and the Judgment, okay? But the Judgment feels like the after effect. The Judgment feels like liberation, internal feeling of liberation, and also forgiveness. It just seems like she's forgiving. So what I'm seeing here is you're the Hierophant. The Ten of Wands is another individual or what it is that you're moving away from. Okay, so I'm saying an individual because it's being represented as this, but it could be a career or whatever, right? And I'm seeing here, it's you're dedicated to this higher path. You're dedicated to it. It feels in your soul. It feels in your spirit. It feels like you're communicating pretty clearly with your guides of like, hey, I recognize that you are guiding me towards this particular decision. I know that this is what I'm supposed to do, or like what I want to do. I know that that's what's really connected to like my soul, right? This is what feels right for me. And this is what I asked, like, is it, can this be like as serious or like as extreme as like, this is why you're here? Like, this is what you're set out to do? Is this is it? And I heard it could be. So I think that's where that general comes in, right? So it's like the select collective, right? The select few that this is really going to resonate with, and that watch this video, then it could be something that serious, right? And as severe as this is what you're here to do, in part of why you're here. And part of the challenge, and kind of quotations, because it's not necessarily a challenge, but it's more of like the challenge presented to you in this life is to say, okay, well, what is important to you? What is important is to follow your soul, follow your calling, or is it to busy your mind, right, with something that, you know, it may make other people feel comfortable with, but it's at your expense. It's not just your expense of what you want. It's like what you need, what your soul needs. And if it's what you're here to do, then that's even more major, right? And I also heard the question presented to someone here of like, well, how do you really know unless you do it? There's a part of you that may not really know until you actually do it, of, hey, you know what? This is bringing me or leading me, or this is why I'm here. Like, now I really get it. And, you know, being uncomfortable in order to grow. But I do see this, whatever you're leaving behind, it kind of feels begrudgingly. I don't know, necessarily resentful. It's like a tinge of resentment, but it's this feeling of you, this forgiveness coming from you. It's like, well, I forgive something from the past of how it unfolded, or how it was, or the decisions that were surrounding that, or I'm also seeing this other example they're showing me of maybe someone who doesn't want to help themselves, and you moving past that and freeing yourself from this, of saying, well, it's not my responsibility. I can only do so much, and I forgive them for making the decisions that they do and living the life according to their own path and their own decisions, and I'm just allowing myself to forgive not just them but also myself, like to release myself from anything that may feel like I'm still bound to that, like I have some sort of responsibility over that, when it's not your responsibility, right? There's only so much you can do, and you have done what you're supposed to, and it feels like you're very well connected to spirit in a multitude of ways too. It feels like in many different ways, and so there shouldn't be any doubt within you that you could have done anything else or anything differently, even when in times that you may have looked back to the past and said, like while you're currently in this and saying, oh, I could do something a little bit, I could tweak it here and there, and then you do, and then that confirms, oh, there's something more I can do, right? It's just the way things are playing out. That's the way things have played out. And it's time for you to just step into detaching yourself from feeling like you have to identify with what's occurring with this particular situation here. And then I heard look up and look out behind the mountains, or between the mountains, or beyond the mountains, something like that. And I literally saw, I don't know, it's kind of like, I don't really want to say it looks like this because it's kind of depicted here, but it's not like that. That looks too jagged for me. So this is more representative of something else. It's like, but it is kind of like Pennsylvania, Blue Ridge Mountains. It's just not Pennsylvania. I'm just saying like somewhere more softer, you know, some places in China, some other places, like I'm just seeing some really like soft mountains, and looking out and beyond there's like whenever I try and focus my mind's eye, I'm like looking past there, I'm trying to see what it is, but it feels like they're saying like that's you, like look past beyond there and there's you'll see yourself. So maybe that's a call to meditate somewhere. Maybe that's a specific message for someone. Maybe that's supposed to be translated another way for you. But I do feel that that's coming through pretty strongly here. And also there is an indication here to just continue to protect yourself. That's where this 9 of Wands comes through. I see it as protection. I see it as self-protection and just honoring, again, your boundaries and staying firm in that. And I'm seeing the way that she's holding this particular wand feels very confident. So it's like being confident in your decisions and being confident again in that feeling of detachment, that feeling of saying, okay, you know, I am enough and I do enough and I have done enough. So that's what I see for you guys. I feel like I should pull another card. It feels like there's one lingering somewhere. I don't know where. I keep looking here, but I have 2 decks. So maybe I'll just, I think I should do both. Yeah, I should do one from each. Okay, so we have MIB, number 13, stalking, intimidation, confrontation. And we have stuck in the mud. Now, it's in reversed. It's kind of at an angle. It's kind of at an angle. And that's what they were telling me, but then I said it's reversed because they're trying to tell me it's more so reversed than it is at an angle, but we have to also honor that part. And I noticed the red, and as I see this red, it brings me to all the red in here, and even here, and then I not heard, but I can feel like buzzing, like it's kind of like ear pressure. So you have to be wary, okay? Maybe this could just, I'm not sure. Okay, again, I'm really not sure about this reading, like who this is supposed to be for, and like this, what I'm saying now is how this is connecting to you, or if this is part 2 and this is like another side note, because it feels like the energy I'm getting is very intense, And so, and this particular situation that you're moving from, it did feel intense too. So I don't know if I'm getting more context here, but there is this warning that I'm getting of you have to be wary of maybe the people surrounding you, or even like something about like the images, like something about the images that you're surrounded by, and what it's this feeling of like, I'm saying like implantation. Like, did I say that? Implantation, like being implanted with something, right? They keep showing me this image, but it's like, it's kind of, they're showing me a microscopic, right? So I'm like looking through a microscope and they're implanting something into something else. Like I can see the needle going through, and then they're injecting it and they're implanting it with something, right? And there's a warning here about implantation and not implementing something, implanting something. So whether it's images being implanted into your auric field, into your energy, or if it's like someone getting into your ear about things. But again, something about it not looking the way it seems. And this feels like it goes back to this here, and then it's more taking like a more serious angle. So it's like if that thing about that surrounding busy energy of you moving, you know, and it kind of like following you in a sense, you know, it's kind of like now, like it's like for those of you that felt, okay, well, it's not going to be something as light as she was saying with her kitty cat playing. It's something more serious, and that is bringing it up here again, where it's confirming, okay, it is more serious than like for you. So it's confirming for you. I guess that this reading is still resonating for you or something. And that whatever it is actually as serious as you feel or you know, and that there's it's weird. Like whenever I look at this card, so I look down, okay, I'm looking at this card, and this person doesn't seem real, and then the phone doesn't seem real either. He's not really on a phone. And his hat doesn't even seem real either. And then the shadow of this individual is, I see that it's supposed to, it's different. It's different. Like, it's like nothing is as it seems. You're not hallucinating, that kind of thing. It's like, it's not what it seems. And it's important that, and then when I say that, then they go to the stop sign and they show me the red, like stop, and red everywhere, except for this. This has hues of red, but it's like not this at all. Red being presented everywhere. And then they highlight it again. It has to do with something to do with the past, right? That particular individual or circumstance, something like that. Red. Like they're connected to it, right? Like they have this, like this particular person in this card, I don't know what those are. Oh, they're supposed to be wands, but it looks like a fishing. Was it not fishing stick? What do you fish with? Oh my gosh, I can't even think of the word right now, but you got a fishing stick right there. So it's connected to them. And it almost feels like in some part, for some of you, that person or thing isn't fully aware that they hold this, whatever kind of dark energy this is. I don't know if they're like fully aware of that. So, it's just feeling like you need to move away or you should move away from the situation, because they're gonna self-implode. Or like this, even a career, it's like you want to move from, it's like then that career, like that particular job, that business would self-implode in some way. Like they would go under or something like that. Like it seems like something as if you're gonna want to follow what you feel with distancing yourself from this particular thing, because soon, I'm like, is it sooner or later? Should I say sooner or later? And they're like, no, soon. They're going to self-implode somehow. And I feel, because the image I'm getting is like this oxen or whatever kind of animal this is, it's turning on this person, and this person has this flowing dress, and it's going to cause a miscommunication here, and they're going to self-implode, right? That oxen's going to attack it's on accident. It doesn't seem like it's purposeful, but it's like they're just buying their time with it. Like it's, or not buying their time, but it's like only a matter of time, because there's something that they did that wasn't right. And I'm talking about with this car, that's the storyline I'm getting with this, so however this is applicable, but it's like the way that they did this wasn't right? They shouldn't have been doing this to the oxen. They shouldn't have been leaving. They shouldn't have been in the situation with you that they were. And so the fact that they have to kind of uproot and leave, right, because of you distancing yourself and saying, okay, enough, then that's setting them up for problems that they created at some point. You know, it's kind of like bad habits eventually catch up to you, right? Like, in speaking generally, like that always happens. Like you continue to do something, you're gonna get the repercussions, real life, right? You don't just get away with something forever. That's just how it is. Like in anything, it's only a matter of time. And so that's what I'm seeing with this. And the stuck in the mud, with it kind of going a little askew here, is because I'm seeing this represented with you of you're not going to feel stuck anymore in some capacity. And there's a guiding light. It's important for you to know this, that there is a guiding voice, a guiding light, a guiding guide, a guide that, and it also in part comes from the higher energy or the higher self. If this is a particular person, then it would be the higher self or the higher energy of what this thing is that you're moving past, that wants you to pursue another direction, wants you to it's the pursuit of destiny in some form here for you. And they're subtly illuminating your path, because then it's bringing me towards gold, right? Everything yellow turns to gold in here, including this little yellow bird, and even the mud here. It's like the mud, as you lift your feet, turns golden and turns light, like gold shimmering light, easy to navigate water, and you can follow that. And I see sunrise, sunset, but the sunrise and sunset there's no darkness in between. You just see those beautiful hues as it rises and as it sets. And that's where they're pointing you at. And I heard, I don't know what this means, or I don't know why it's originating, because there's a place in New York, I believe, called Valhalla. But I heard Valhalla, which I believe is supposed to be like heaven, but I don't know the origin of why people say that. So I don't think it has to do with New York. It could. But anyway, so yeah, that's what I'm saying is it's only you. It's only you that is the sole responsibility when it comes to freeing yourself here. And they can only do so much as this little teensy bird. That bird cannot block the elephant's way, but they can certainly cause a little itch on its booty to turn and say, hey, what's up? Okay, that's the way out of here. That's what I'm supposed to do. And the elephant can decide whether it wants to pursue that or not. And it does seem as if, you know, that's the direction that you're going anyway, especially going back to how you're so connected to energies and to spirit. So yeah, that's what I'm getting with you guys. And I'm also seeing one other thing. They're showing me these and how you're rooting all of this. Root. And there's a permanency, if that's a word, to your boundaries and to your confidence, and to also it seems like I feel authoritative. There's something about you that's very authoritative, and there's a word that I'm seeing with the letter. It starts with a C. The letter C. I'm not sure what word I'm getting because every time I focus on it, then it goes away. But anyway, yeah, and that's representing you. And I'm just seeing this as like, you know, you're that this is whom you're becoming. It's who you really are anyway, but you're solidifying that in some way, and it's resonating very clearly with other people. Like, people are very clearly able to see this as kind of part of your reputation too. So that is what I see. Okay, another thing that they're saying, sorry, it's just like a little bit here and there that is, I guess, but they do want you to kind of like notice where things seem off. Okay, just pay attention to that. Notice where things seem off, because maybe this is going to help you in some way as you're making this transition, because I'm even noticing like these dark windows, right? And they should be illuminated is what I'm hearing. Like those windows there should be light coming through. And they're questioning, are the windows boarded up? Are the windows painted on? Or is there no light on? Pay attention to those details, right? Pay attention to where things seem a little strange, a little askew, a little bit off, because it's important that you pay attention to this and notice it, because it's going to lead you into the, it's almost like there's some portion of this where you may partially, it's not necessarily disillusioned, but it's like you've allowed yourself to see the bigger, I guess it is illusionment, but it's like seeing the bigger illusion instead of seeing the detail. It's like so once you notice something about the detail, then it's going to, you know, tear down any other kind of thing that doesn't make sense. And I just looked up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 vultures flying together. 6 vultures flying together. And that's important because, again, it's like you need to follow something that seems off, and it's like you're noticing it for a reason. It's like your guide or guides are pointing you to notice this in a way that you've overlooked it, so that you see what it is that you're needing to see right now. Because as you notice this, then in the back there are buildings with no windows, and then all of a sudden it shows me like none of it again is real. It's like none of these are actually real. So I was disillusioned to think, oh, the windows they're supposed to be on. And it's like, no, this isn't even real. So there's something important that they're trying to point out with that. Okay, so that's finally it. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.